Okay, so good morning children. You're welcome to this chapter in plant physiology, the first in the unit of plant physiology. The first chapter in this unit is transport in plants. Now, before I start with this chapter with you and before we come to the topic, let me ask you, how are you all doing? Are you ready to meet the NEET? Now, to meet the NEET, we need to go really inside the subject matter and to understand the details properly, nicely, right? So, when we start with the unit in plant physiology, what we are actually doing is doing a series of 5 chapters, right? So, the first chapter, as you can see, is transport in plants. The second one that we are going to be talking about is mineral nutrition or plant nutrition. The third one is photosynthesis, means how the plants synthesize their food. The fourth one in the series is respiration. How do the plants metabolize that food inside their living cells? How do they oxidize that food to release the energy for various metabolic activities? The last chapter in this series, in this unit, is growth and development in flowering plant, that talks about the various developmental processes of the plants. Now, as you know that the word physiology, now let me write this down for you. This word physiology actually means to study the functioning of a living organism. Now, by functioning, what do we mean? We mean the various processes, the various functions that are going on inside the body. For example, how the transports are occurring, how the cells are taking up their nutrition, how are they synthesizing it, if they are synthesizing it, and how are they metabolizing that food, in what way, how are they assimilating that food. So all these functions, the various synthetic and the catalytic, I would say the breakdown processes all come into this purview of the plant physiology. So we are obviously going to stick more and concentrate more on the topics related with the plants. However, some of the topics, as you will notice and we go, that some of the topics are quite common. There's some of the titles are quite common to plants as well as animals. But we will be studying them with main focus on plant physiology, right? Now let us see, let's start with the chapter in transport in plants. Now, first of all, let's talk about the need for transport. What is the need for transport? Now, let me give you a very small example from our day-to-day lives. If a farmer is growing tomatoes somewhere, so obviously if the farmer does not transport the tomatoes to the place where they're required, what is the farmer going to face? Obviously devastation, because if the transport of a particular matter does not take place at the right time, it leads to something which is not right. So even in the case of plants and animals, transport happens to be a very important need. Now, much more so, if you say in the animals, we have a circulatory system which is completely devoted to this topic of I would say to the need of transport. But in plants, you do not come across any such system, right? So when we do not have a complete system which is devoted to the transport, how exactly does the transport of materials take place in the plants? Now, by the help of a diagram, let's first understand the need of the transport. Now, suppose we have a plant. Let's draw a generic structure of a plant. We know that the roots are absorbing water and minerals from the soil, right? And obviously the need for the water and minerals happens to be in the aerial parts also. So the plant needs to transport these water and minerals to the aerial parts of the plant, right? Similarly, the leaves up there are synthesizing food with the process of photosynthesis. So this food needs to be translocated downwards to the roots and to the other organs which do not synthesize their own food, right? So obviously the need for transport is much, right? Now after this, let us talk about what, why, how of transport. Now when we talk about what, so first of all, we'll answer the question, what are the things which a plant may need to transport? Now, obviously, as we just studied, the plant may need to transport the water and the minerals being absorbed. By minerals, we can say the inorganic nutrients that the plant is absorbing, right? The other thing would be the organic solutes. Now, organic solutes would mean the food that is being synthesized by the leaves, right? Apart from these, several plant growth regulators may also need to be transported within the plant. Now, this actually includes the plant hormones, right? So these are the what's of a transport. What are the things which the plant would need to transport, right? Now we talk about why. Now the answer to this question why is very obvious, and probably we have just answered it, that the substance needs to reach the sink, right? From the source to the sink. If it doesn't reach the sink, I would say the whole thing is of no use, right?